What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Jessica Jones, Season 2, Episode 10, Pork Chop. So, I'm going to do, for the final 4 episodes, I think I'm going to do 2 episodes and then do 2 more episodes just to sort of finish it off, because honestly, this is where the story should get the most intriguing, and so I should have more to talk about. So hopefully, doing these 2 episodes is not going to be like really, really short reviews. But yeah, let's talk about this one, because frankly, there are still some things that are frustrating me. So, let's talk about those first. So yeah, Trish is still just... Yeah, no, still don't really like her. I really don't know if maybe the drugs are messing with her mind this much to where she really just doesn't understand what she's doing. But it really does sometimes seem like she truly believes that, yeah, her mom is totally like trying to poison her and oh my gosh, we gotta help her. And then at the end, it kind of seems like, oh, maybe she doesn't actually believe that. Maybe she's just doing this to get to the doctor so he can make more of that stuff so that she can have some more. So I don't really know what her motivations are. And the show's not doing a good job of showing me that. You know, if they want to keep me guessing, I guess they are doing its purpose. You know, it's accomplishing its goal. But at the same time, it still doesn't really feel like I know what's going on with Trish. It doesn't feel like I know what's happening with her internally. And I feel like I should understand a little bit of that. Even at the end, whenever she decides to, cold cock Malcolm and knock him out, at that point I should be like, oh, so she is going for the drugs. But even now, I still don't know. I don't know if she's going crazy so she thinks she's going to kill the doctor because that's what he deserves, or if she does want some more drugs. I truly do not know. And it's not in a sense of, oh, it's keeping me guessing. It's in a sense of the show's just not doing a good job of explaining her character right now, pretty much, and what she's going through. Unless they're keeping it in mystery for some secret, I don't know what that would be at the moment. But it really does sort of feel like, they're not doing a good job of explaining what type of crazy she is right now. Is she truly just off her rocker, completely insane, making dumb decisions because she believes they're correct, or is she doing it all because she wants some more drugs? No clue. And I hope they explain it. I hope whenever we come back to the next episode, hopefully it'll be like she's got him at gunpoint, like, give me more drugs! And it's like, okay, so now I know for sure. But if she goes up there and she starts interrogating him, I'm like, oh, so she truly does want him dead, I guess? I don't know. Anyways, so she's still frustrating me. Everything with Jerry is still kind of pointless. I thought maybe it was going to take a turn for the better. Like, oh, maybe this is actually going to lead somewhere interesting because the doctor tells Jessica, what? I never operated on a whatever his name is, Steven, I think. I never operated on a guy named that. And I'm just like, oh. So maybe there is a twist coming. Maybe it wasn't the mom that killed all those people. Maybe there are some other people. This guy actually has healing capabilities, and they're doing this because they want to try to find the doctor and get his research or something. No, it's just Inez. She truly wants Jerry's money and everything that she's got. So I guess she had like a boyfriend in jail that, I guess she convinced Jerry that, oh yeah, he has healing powers, totally, because I used to work at this hospital, totally, yeah. And Jerry, being the genius lawyer she is, was like, I believe you in everything that you said because, well, you're pretty and that's all I really need. And apparently that's all it was leading to. Yeah. This entire story amounts to Jerry loses all of her valuable possessions because Inez and whoever that guy is that pretended to be a healer, apparently they were just trying to scam her out of her money and jewels and stuff. Yep. No greater purpose to the overall plot, just Jerry falling further down the rabbit hole because, she's stupid. And can we talk about that crying scene at the end? Because, yeah, I know a lot of people make jokes about how Trinity from The Matrix was kind of an emotionless robot, kind of similar to Neo. There have been jokes about how emotionless both of them could be in those movies. It truly feels like Carrie-Anne Moss does not know how to exhibit emotion sometimes. And this crying scene really showed me that. Like, she's sitting there, it's like she couldn't pick what she wanted to do. Do I want to scream? Do I want to cry a little bit? Do I want to, like, gurgle some words? Like, it was so weird. Like, the look on her face wasn't even, like, shock or pain. It was like she just didn't express an emotion. She just screamed a little bit, and that was supposed to show us that she's in pain, I guess, and she's sad. Mr. Director, should we do that scene again? Because that was a little awkward. No, 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 no. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's supposed to be a little awkward because that's our show. We're just a little bit awkward, you know? People sleeping around and people always cheating and having dark secrets and people being despicable people. Yeah. Obviously, everybody in the world. So, yeah, Jerry's story never really interested me, and I kind of hoped maybe it would tie in a little bit, and when the doctor said that, I was kind of like, oh, well, maybe, and then, no, it just turned out they were thieves, and that's all it was. So that's a little frustrating. There's this thing with the warden at the prison that I thought was going to be pointless, and now I think is going to play in a little bit more, but mainly to Jessica's story. Not necessarily to her mom at all, or what's going on with the doctor and IGH and all of that. No, he was just there to be an antagonistic asshole because Jessica was supposed to find out, and then she's going to go to his house and try to take him down, and then he's going to sneak up on her, and then she's going to kill him, and that's all of a sudden going to lead her down this like dark path of, oh my gosh, I killed another man, what do I do now? And so it's mainly more just so Jessica could have a little bit more emotional turmoil. And I feel like that's kind of been this season in a nutshell. You know, they couldn't really figure out what to do with this whole IGH plot line. So it feels like they're just like, oh, well, let's take Jessica further down this emotional just turmoil. You know, what is she going to go through next? And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, I do come to the show expecting some stuff about superheroes. It's in the Marvel universe. It's a Marvel property. Now, don't get me wrong. This could be interesting still at the end. There could be some sort of tie-in and make it somewhat of an interesting twist at the end to all of a sudden be like, oh, there is a bad guy to stop. But right now, it just kind of feels like there's no bad guy. And I guess you could say that's unique to superhero shows, but at the same time, it's unique because it's not supposed to be done. It's not something that is a good idea for a superhero show to have no bad guy to stop. You know, that just doesn't make any sense. It's like, well, let's watch this superhero take on the process of losing his mom. You know, oh, let's have a whole season about that. Isn't that just so sad? That's honestly what it kind of feels like. If we just spent an entire season of Batman the Animated Series, no villains to fight, he locked all of them up. Now let's just talk about his feelings. His mom died. How did that make Bruce feel? Well, this is not a superhero show. There are superhero elements, obviously, and there are intense action moments, obviously, but it mainly feels more like an emotional delve into Jessica and who she is as a character. And that's not a bad idea for a couple episodes, though. Not for an entire season. So, I'm holding out judgment still, because there could still be somebody to face at the end. There could still be, I guess, somebody that has been orchestrating these events, or maybe the doctor is not as nice as he seems to be, or maybe her mom actually is evil like Trish is saying. I don't know. But it doesn't feel like it's leading that way. It feels like it's leading down a plot line of, we're going to explore Jessica as a character this season. And I just don't feel like that's not the best plan to take for season 2. If that's what you want to do at the beginning of season 1, awesome. You know, we don't often see superhero shows do that. We don't often see them explore a character at first and be like, oh yeah, let's talk about what makes this person do what they do. But that's not going to last a whole season, and it's best to do that in the first season when we're just getting to know them, not you spend a whole season getting to know them, and now in season 2 they're like, now let's find out what really drives them. Let's bring her mom back, and now she's got to deal with this, and oh no, what is she going to do now that she's killed another guy? I don't know. It's just, I'm struggling to come to grips with what they're doing this season, and it's not because it's not like superhero like action, jumping off of buildings and punching bad guys, all of that stuff. That's not why I'm not getting into it. It's more because I really just feel like they don't have an idea of what they wanted to do this season. So it seems like it's been going several different paths this entire season, and you know, that's why more of the side character stories Trish and her thing, Malcolm and his thing, Jerry and her thing. All of these stories have been getting more focus this season because they needed to fill up the space, because there was so little to focus on with Jessica and IGH. It was mainly just she goes there trying to find out these people that gave her her powers, and then she finds out her mom is still alive, and she finds out her mom has powers like her. She finds out her mom's been killing people, and then she finds out the doctor that created her loves her, and now they've got to get him out of the country because that's the only way to keep her mom from, I guess, being sent to the raft where she'll never, ever, ever get to see her. I don't know. That just doesn't sound like a good story for season 2. You know, maybe that's just me. Maybe a lot of people watched it and were just like, oh, this is awesome. This is so touching between her and her mom. I'm not feeling it. I don't feel like they've earned or warranted the emotion that I feel like they're trying to portray here. So with all that being said, trying to think if there's any... Ooh, don't know where that came from. I don't think there's much else to this. You know, that's pretty much all that. You know, Malcolm is going, I guess, through some after effects as well from the one time he took the stuff that Trish gave him. And so he's working out more. He's more angry. Honestly, he is spitting a little bit of truth, which I do appreciate. You know, he's stepping in just like, really? I mean, you're lying to me all the time, and I work for you, and you just stepped into my life and brought me back to what I was trying to get away from. You know, how could you do that to me? And then ultimately ends up sleeping with Trish later anyway, and I'm just like, oh, so nothing that you said earlier was true. What a hypocrite. I hate it whenever shows do that. I hate it when shows have a character be so strong and solid and be like, no, this is wrong. And then 20, 30 minutes later, they're going back on the word. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, words don't mean anything. We're all crap human beings deep down, just like Jessica Jones said. All of us have secrets. All of us are dirty human beings. We should all be ashamed of ourselves because Jessica Jones knows how people work. No. So, as you can tell, I'm still having my frustrations with this season. And it's kind of sad because I really did like the first season. I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was an interesting little psychological thriller. Not what I was used to, especially after watching Daredevil. Wasn't exactly what I was expecting, but I had a lot of fun with it, and Kilgrave was a good villain. This season just hasn't done anything for me. It hasn't really caught my interest. It's mainly been focused on the bare, like, awful skeletons in the closet of humanity. Like, every character on the show except for Griffin, who they kicked out halfway through. And then it's been focused on Jessica and her mom and all of the stuff that's doing to her, and it just doesn't feel like a Marvel story, first of all, which maybe it is, but on top of that, it just doesn't feel like it's warranting of as much time as it's getting. And so, it has 3 episodes to prove me wrong, but so far I feel like my fears are being proven correct. And it still doesn't feel like we're really getting much of a mystery here. It's mainly just pretty straightforward. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, that's it from me for this one. So on to the next episode. See you there. And now episode 11, 3 Lives and Counting. And honestly, probably the best episode of the season so far. Which is ironic because it also pissed me off the most. Mainly because it showed how good this season could have been if they took some of these ideas and went with them. But the problem is they didn't. So first of all, Jessica obviously kills the guard. So how are we going to deal with this? You know, she's killed another person. This is the 3rd one, you know, as the title says, 3 lives and counting. You know, she's killed 3 people now. All of a sudden, Kilgrave pops into her mind again. And now he's with her, and he's taunting her because she's taken another life, and he loves that. And the Kilgrave inside of her mind is just torturing her. This is a genius idea. The problem with it, it's coming with 3 episodes left. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure they just brought it back for this 1 episode, and we might never see it again. Why? I loved that. It was so good. And the thing is, you don't want to repeat villains. Perfectly understandable. And honestly, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Batman Arkham Knight, where the Joker was dead, but they still brought him back in the form of he's in Batman's mind and torturing him psychologically throughout the entire game. That made it so much more fun. You know, he's sitting there he's jumping in front of bullets and stuff. He's pretending to die again. He's just joking with him, making jokes about his dead girlfriend and all of this stuff. It was funny, it was twisted, and it also felt like it just improved Batman and Joker's like relationship even more. To see him inside of Batman's mind. This has so much potential. When she is sitting there and she is looking at everything and she's seeing everything as a private investigator, and Kilgrave is voicing everything that she's seeing, how much more entertaining would that be for like half of a season as compared to she's narrating everything that she's seeing in her mind? We could have Kilgrave be narrating everything that she's investigating and seeing and her detective mind is picking up. It was so good. And it could all culminate to this episode here where, we see about halfway through, we see her really start to lose it because all of a sudden all these different Kilgraves are popping up and she's seeing him everywhere. This could have been a nicely drawn out story where this was one of the main focuses. You have the IGH stuff, you have everything that happened to Jessica and her mother, but you throw in Kilgrave to the plot. You throw in the fact that he's in her mind still torturing her throughout most of the season, and then she kills somebody. Maybe she's been hearing his voice, and then she kills someone, and all of a sudden now he is physically in her mind. Like he is a presence now, and he is voicing all of this stuff. And we go through that for a few episodes, and it's like he's just constantly taunting her and torturing her, and it's affecting the people around her. And then finally we have this episode where everything just builds up. She starts to see him everywhere because it's just constantly on her mind. How much she just wants to get rid of this doctor that hurt her and hurt her mother. And it's torturing her and it's killing her inside. And she's lashing out at people, When she choked that one guy up against the wall, I'm like, yes, this would make sense that she's going through this and that she'd do something like this. Except for the fact that it's just for this episode. And that's why it's not as good. It had the potential to be such an amazing story if they had drawn it out. But they didn't. They decided to just throw it in for this one episode, and now it's probably gone. Because at the end of the episode, she's like, no, I had a chance to kill him, but I didn't. Which makes me stronger than you. And then he's just like, I'll still be here if you need me. And then he's gone. I'm just like, okay, well, goodbye, potential amazing plot line. Let's just get rid of that. Shoot, go on. We don't want good stuff here. Why? The Trish story. Whenever they were kind of keeping it a little bit secretive, whenever like she's dragging Dr. Carl everywhere, I'm like, okay, so it's not for the inhaler, because that would just be way too obvious. She doesn't want more medicine. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, she doesn't just want him dead. What is she trying to do? I'm still not entirely sure. And that's when, about halfway through, it kind of hits me, because she's talking about being, you could do something great. You could really just change the world. And I flash back to last episode, the first time we heard it mentioned all season, where Jessica's mom is talking to her in the prison. She's like, you're jealous of Jessica and her powers, I can tell. At the time, I'm thinking, yeah, you're probably right about that. Now that I'm thinking about it, it does that would make sense. I mean, we haven't seen anything or heard anything to suggest that, but it would tie it all together. It would make sense why she's being stupid in so many of these situations. That's what she's trying to do. She's trying to get Dr. Carl to experiment on her and give her powers like Jessica. Brilliant storyline. But they didn't tell it right. It's because they focused so much on her trying to do her... Like, the first part of the season, the first 5 episodes was about her and Griffin and her trying to become a better reporter and trying to further her job. And then after that, everything with the inhaler and stuff, it's like, okay, so what is she trying to do now? Well, now she wants to be stronger. She wants to, I guess, help in taking down this guy because she wants the story so bad. She really wants to get that story because she wants to be popular. She wants to be like Griffin. And then she turns down his proposal. And that even furthers the idea that she doesn't want to be with him. She wants to be who he is. She wants to be that great reporter. And then last episode, they're just like, oh no, it's because she wants to be like Jessica. Screw the reporter storyline. That was dead last episode. No. We killed that off. She no longer wants to be a reporter. She no longer wants to be super popular and, go out there and get the story. No. She now wants to be like Jessica and have her powers. That was what we were building up to the entire time. We promised. That was the intent. that we were going for since the beginning of the season. She was always trying to be just like Jessica and have her powers and all of that stuff. No, that was not the storyline you were telling me at the beginning of the season. And I don't know if maybe giving her that taste of power changed it, but if it did, I didn't see that. I didn't get a sense of that. The first time I felt this way was last episode when Jessica's mom brought it up. And that was only because when she said it, I kind of thought to myself, yeah, that would make some bit of sense. It would tie together some of these weird actions that she's taking. But overall, it still doesn't make sense as far as what she's been doing since the beginning of the season. Even after she first took the inhaler, everything after that still didn't feel like it was what they said. Oh yeah, she's just trying to be like Jessica and have her powers. So it just feels like that could have been the storyline that they were building to, but they didn't show it. They didn't give me that. They didn't show her slowly, like, seeing Jessica do something to help people, or seeing her, like, going out there and doing super heroic stuff, or stopping the bad guys. No, we didn't see any of that this season. We didn't see her maybe being a little bit jealous of that. We just saw her most of the season trying to be a reporter, trying to get that story, trying to solve the case of who is this superpowered person going around killing people. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, she wants powers. Yup, that's what it was this whole time. So, yeah, another story that could have been interesting, now wasted. She does undergo some sort of surgery that the doctor puts her through, and then all of a sudden she starts seizing and blood coming out of her mouth. So chances are she'll probably have powers either next episode or the episode after. I really don't know. But basically, what we're building to is Carl at the end of it is all like, yes, it needs to die with me here. I am useless. After Jessica decides not to kill him, and then he grabs a gun and points it at all the flammable stuff, shoots it, and blows himself up. So, of course, because Jessica killed the one guard, a nicer guard comes in, letting Jessica's mom do all this stuff, letting her call Jessica, letting her eat nice food. She uncuffs her a lot of the time. She even, gets out of the way to let her watch the TV, and I'm like, well, that's really sweet, and I'm sure it's not going to have any repercussions. And then all of a sudden at the end, they're showing the news report about how Carl died in the accident and Trish was involved. I'm just like, oh no, the mom saw it. I wonder what's going to happen next. And then she breaks out of prison, and I'm sure she's just going to go on a rampage. And that's what this whole season was leading up to. Jessica's mom, heartbroken, tearing through the city because she's heartbroken. Isn't that just so exciting? Isn't that just what you wanted to see since the beginning of the season? Because I know I was. So yeah, that's honestly why I'm still frustrated with this episode. It was better, it was enjoyable, stuff with Kilgrave was spot on. Even if it is, you're returning to a past villain, they utilized him in a clever way that was enjoyable and funny and twisted and psychologically messing with you a little bit. And then it all turns into, oh no, we have to go stop her mom now, because her mom's heartbroken, is about to tear up the city because she lost her boyfriend, husband, whatever. And it's just not as exciting. It's not as fun to think about. It's not as engaging, especially because, honestly, I haven't really gotten into the whole mother storyline. At first it was kind of like, oh, where could this go? And then they just didn't really take it anywhere. It was an experiment that kind of went wrong, but ultimately saved her life. So, I don't know. I guess you could say that they're trying to go for the moral dilemma of what the experiments were doing were taking humans and experimenting on them, which is morally wrong. But at the same time, it saves lives. So what do you do with that? If that's what they're going for, I guess they could have taken that a little bit further. But ultimately, they haven't really done much with it. They haven't really taken that concept and applied what that could mean. Scientific discovery is so good, but what's the limit? How far do you go? When you're actually saving lives, is that still okay? Even if it means you're doing something as inhumane as experimenting on other human beings. They didn't explore any of that. They kind of touched on it a little bit, but never really, I guess, addressed it. And so now it's just leading to, it's going to be Jessica trying to stop her mom. Her mom's super powerful. She's super powerful. Two super powered people trying to stop each other. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really just wishing it could have been better. I guess the other thing to talk about in this, though, is Malcolm. Just going to address him a little bit because it's kind of been a little weird with him. He's been a little bit more outspoken, but then at the same time, it seems there are moments of clarity, and then there are moments where it seems like maybe he's suffering a little bit from the little bit of inhaler stuff that he took. I honestly can't tell. Because there are times when I'm just like, yes. So he is still clear. He's not being affected by whatever happened. When he first took it, he ran off scared. I'm like, what's going on in his mind? I don't know. We have no clue. There are times when he steps up and says his piece, and I'm just like, yes, go Malcolm. And then there are times when I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? You're an idiot. Is this the drugs working on him again? Like, is that what's going on? So at the end of this episode, they have the whole like, I hate you. Oh, you need to stop because you're just sleeping around and that's your replacement for drugs. You're still addicted. And he's like, well, guess what? I mean, you're just going around trying to do your own thing and I tried to help you and you wouldn't let me. Oh, yeah, well, you're fired. Oh, yeah, well, I quit. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm sure they're not going to make up by the end of the season because, I mean, I'm sure Malcolm's not going to do something and Jessica's not going to realize at the end that, oh, well, maybe I do need to trust more people and maybe I do need to have Malcolm help me out like she did in the first season. I'm sure that's not going to happen because that wouldn't make any sense. Honestly, it kind of wouldn't make any sense because why go through that at the end of the first season where she doesn't want him involved and then by the end he is involved just to break that apart in the second season and not fix it again. The fact that you've already broken it apart is kind of like you're repeating the storyline now. So yeah, I still got my problems. 2 episodes to see what's going to happen. Who knows? Maybe there's just some major plot twist that's just going to blow me out of my socks and I'm just going to be like, holy crap, they set that up so well. But I just don't see it. I don't see anything they could do differently. I don't see anything they could change. The only thing that I could see them trying to do is trying to make Oscar a bad guy. Because he's been involved, he's been there for Jessica. I could see them trying to be like, oh, it turns out Oscar worked for IGH as well. Oh, no. What does that mean for him and Jessica? I could see them trying to do that as like some sort of last-minute plot twist. But if they do that, that would just be dumb. That would be like M. Night Shyamalan levels of dumb as far as plot twists go. So, really, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's it for me. So let me know what you think about these 2 episodes. Let me know what you can talk about and discuss, all that good stuff. And once again, leave a like and subscribe for future Jessica Jones and Marvel Netflix shows reviews. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.